Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Ashley and today I am extremely excited to be doing the introduction for 2020's Pan Those Eyeshadows project. So this was a project that was wildly popular in 2019, but it was actually created a few years ago by Alexi. If you have never run across her channel, I am going to go ahead and link it up in the cards because she is a phenomenal panner. She's a wonderful content creator and she's someone that is just very inspiring. She has some of the best eyeshadow looks. She is just fantastic. So if you have not ever run across her, now is the perfect time to check her out because she's awesome. But a lot of people jumped on this particular project in 2019, and I know a lot of people like myself are going to continue it on in 2020. I had so much fun working on this project last year, and it allowed me to hit pan on eyeshadows that I never would have otherwise. So I'm really excited to start it up again in 2020, but I am going to be making a couple of changes. If you saw any of my videos from last year, I really focused on my discontinued and limited edition eyeshadow palettes, and this year I'm going to bring them all in, or I'm pretty sure it's all of them. Oh God, when you see my inventory video, it's intense. Anyway, so I'm going to stick with just my eyeshadow palettes themselves. I kind of went back and forth on whether or not I wanted to pull in my single eyeshadows, my individual eyeshadows, my cream products like my ColourPop Super Shock shadows, things like that. And in the end, I ultimately decided just to stick with my palettes themselves because I have so many that it was already feeling overwhelming without pulling in all of those other types of eyeshadows. So this year at least, we're going to stick with just my palettes. Yes, sorry, I can't talk today. Anyway, additionally, last year I made the decision that I was not going to attempt to pan black eyeshadows or true white eyeshadows, and I'm going to continue that on this year as well. I don't usually wear those types of shades, and I'm not going to put the kind of pressure on myself to try to pan something that I know that I'm not going to use. And along those same lines, I'm going to put up some additional sort of barriers as well, in a sense. So I had some shadows last year that I worked on for a very long time and got very burnt out on. So I think what I'm going to do this year is I'm going to say that if I have used a shadow 45 times and I have not hit pan on it, then I'll have the option to go ahead and roll it out because I want to be getting usage from a lot of different eyeshadows, but still working towards a goal. I don't know if that makes sense or not. So I am going to go ahead and structure mine in that way. I think I'm also going to give myself a total of 4 vetoes. So even if I haven't used the shade 45 times, if I'm not enjoying it and I'm not getting any use out of it, I'm going to allow myself to just elect to remove it. Now, I don't want to give myself too much of an out because part of the fun of this project is to also push yourself a little bit, to get out of your comfort zone, to put together shadows and shades and colors and textures that you maybe wouldn't have under other circumstances. So I don't want to just give myself carte blanche to just roll things in and out. Other people can do that and that's totally fine. It's just not how I'm choosing to structure mine. But I figure 4 vetoes, that's 1 per quarter, roughly. So it still gives me an out, but I don't know. I'm rambling, I realize. So let's get on to actually choosing the shades because that is the most fun. And it's so funny to me because as much as I've enjoyed having the flexibility to basically use everything in my collection over the past couple of weeks since my 2019 project ended and now that I'm starting this 2021, and it's been nice, don't get me wrong, but it's been really kind of strange not working towards a goal. And I can see how the past year or so of panning has really started to change the way that I view makeup, and that's really kind of exciting too. So I am going to go ahead and be using my Pretty Random app. Ooh, so guys, I have at least 1,857 pans of eyeshadow in palettes. Now the reason that I say at least is for a couple of different reasons. First of all, I took forever to build out this spreadsheet because it was a little bit overwhelming, and for some of the palettes I just didn't list any of the true black or true white shadows, and then on other ones I did, so this number can change throughout the year. Also, I have terrible organizational skills, and I'm pretty sure that at some point I'm going to stumble across a palette that I forgot to add to the spreadsheet, so that could change as well. But for the moment, in my Pretty Random app, I have started with a minimum value of the number 2. That's because the spreadsheet has headers on it. And a maximum value of 1,857. And we're going to go ahead and randomly generate 5 shades. So let's start. 1395 is my first shade. I should probably be writing this down, shouldn't I? That would actually make sense, because I don't know where all of these palettes are, and I'm not going to waste your time by running around and stopping and starting. So 1395 is what we're starting with. 545 is the next one. $354. 1552, and then the last one, 1162. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and jump off camera. I'm going to find those palettes and show you the shades that I have randomly selected. Alright, so I did go ahead and pull the palettes, but I haven't looked at this shade yet. I wanted for us to kind of do that together because I thought that would be fun. So the first shade, or the first number that I randomly drew, was 1395. That comes to us from my Lorac Mega Pro 4. This was my unofficial Pan That palette from last year. I'm not going to lie, I was not excited to see this come up. So the shade 1395 is Light Sage, which is this shade right here. Let me go ahead and get you a swatch of that. And it is, I don't know, like a grayish mint green. Okay. Okay. The next shade that I drew was number 545. That comes to us from the You Had Me at Hello palette by ColourPop. And number 595, or 545 rather, sorry, is Candygram. That is, oh, they're on the back. Candygram is the one on the very end of the top row. So that is this shade right here. Okay. I'm happy about that, much more so than the first shade that I drew. Of course, these shades don't go together, but that's okay. Look at that, beautiful. All right, that I'm on board with, absolutely. All right, and then the third shade that we drew is also going to be a ColourPop shade. It is 354. That's from the Salvaje palette. And that is going to be shade called, let's get all the way up there. Luna. And that is the first shade in the palette. Okay, that'll be easy to use. It is just a matte cream shade. Can use that to set down my eyeshadow primer, blend stuff out. That will be easy enough to use. The third shade that I drew was 1552. That comes to us from a BH Cosmetics palette, the Illusion palette. A little further down. 1552 is, these aren't named, so it's the 12th shade in this little palette. These are tiny, tiny. I don't even know if I've, oh yeah, I have used this. So 4, 8, 12, is that what I said? 12, okay, just a kind of mid-tone matte brown. Again, that should be easy enough to work in, especially with these two shades right here. I think all of those will work nicely in conjunction with one another. But of course, the last shade is probably going to throw all of that out of whack, I'm sure. The very last shade is 1162, and that comes to us from an old Tarte palette of mine. It was their holiday palette from a few years ago. It is, I just call it the origami palette, just because I don't know what it's actually called, but it kind of flips open to reveal everything that's in there. Oh, okay, so this could be a little bit interesting. So the shade that I randomly selected is this one here called Starry. Let's see if I can show it to you. This one right here. So it's a very similar sort of shade. Well, it's got a little bit more warmth to it, actually. I was going to say, it's very similar to the BH Cosmetics, but yeah, it's got a little bit more of a warm sort of orangey undertone to it. So those two will probably be a little bit slower going, just because I can probably use them pretty interchangeably. But I am excited to be getting started on a project. So again, these are the shades that I'm working with. The one that you can't see here on the end is that Light Sage from the Lorac Mega Pro 4. And yeah, so that's where we're starting. I'm going to stop rambling. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. If you are doing this project, let me know. I'd love to check out your updates as well. I hope that you're having an amazing day, and I will see you next time. Bye.